of that.
Welcome to Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi with my guest, Audrey Hinds. I'm so delighted that she has chosen to come on the show. And right now, she's going to tell you a little bit about what she does. Audrey, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Tammy, first of all, I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. Um, a little bit about my background. Listen, I'm a country girl. I am from Dinwiddie, Virginia, a Southern belle at its best, right? So, for those of you who are not familiar with Dinwiddie, it is right off of 85, right before you hit North Carolina. If you blink, you will absolutely miss it. But if you do get a chance to visit, good food, good people, and we're hard workers. So fast forward a little bit. I am also a mama and a wife, and I'm a children's book author and publisher. So that is, I would say that's the short version of the story.
Okay, so how did you come to do that? I mean, what was your path to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great question. So ever since I was 12 years old, I knew I wanted to be an author. I just knew I found comfort in writing. I was one of those individuals that fell in love with poetry first. And I decided to continue that journey of writing as I got older. And I was that brave, bold teen that was sending my books of poetry, my manuscripts of poetry to those big publishers like Random House and Penguin. Girl, they were denying me left, right, and sideways. They were sending me all types of rejection letters in like the most eloquent way. I had never been denied so eloquently ever in life. I was like, oh, okay. But what that did for me, even back then, I learned at a very early age that I would have to set my own pace and my own standards in the world of publishing. So as I got older, I continued to write, but then, life happened, right? I found myself
Yes.
being a wife, being a mom, being a career woman. And at one point, I was even a stay-at-home mom. And with all of these very rewarding things that I was doing, I still was not completely satisfied because I wasn't completely fulfilled because I was not living on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a firm believer in living on purpose. So the idea that I wasn't, the idea that that was the path that I wanted my children to lead and I wasn't doing it myself bothered me. And finally, in 2019, I made a decision in January that I was going to publish a book come hell or high water. Girl, it didn't matter if it was December 31st. I was like, if I get this book out this year, then I did what I said I was going to do because by then I was so frustrated with disappointing myself. I don't know if you've ever told yourself you're going to do something and you ain't do it. And
Yes.
that's the space that I was in life. And once I truly made that decision, I just went full throttle with it. And as I started to get recognition from the book, I continued to write and published additional books, and other women started to notice and they started to ask for my help. And sis, I was literally building that bike as I was riding it, truth be told, right?
I like that. Building that bike as you were riding it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But we got those books out, and now 18 months later, we have well, as of tonight, 20 books. We have 20 books as of tonight
Wow.
published. Yep. More than half have been bestseller. So it's been a good ride. And we have right now books that are coming out through the month of November. So God has been good. So I feel like
Yes.
I finally answered the call, and I'm getting, a response that not even I could have imagined.
Mm, that is powerful, sis. That's powerful. Because so many people are in a place where you were, where they know they have a call, they know there's something that they're supposed to do, not even supposed to, but that they desire to do.
Yeah, that's right.
What kind of advice would you give to a woman like that, that is sitting in this place where, they're doing all these amazing things, because being a mother and being a wife, they're all amazing.
Sure.
Um, Even working, whatever job you work, that's another thing. But what would you say to that woman that, is watching us right now and saying, hey, um, I want to be whatever, I want to be I have my own food truck, or, something that I enjoy. What would you say to that woman?
Absolutely. Honestly, Tammy, that's a question that I'm asked pretty often, and my answer is always the same, and it'll continue to be the same answer, which is do it afraid. Whatever it is, do it afraid. I promise you, there is success and there are blessings on the other side of your fear.
That is mm, that is really good advice, because I know that there are women that are watching us that are saying, but I want to do, I want to be a whatever, and it's something that's within their scope that they can do, but they're afraid. And so do it afraid, I think, is like one of the most amazing pieces of advice. So explain to us how you actually got to that place where you decided to do it afraid. I mean, was there a
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had broken many promises to myself, and my children are were starting to get older, and all the excuses really were off the table, because before, oh, they were too young, oh, I'm so busy working, oh, I always found a way to justify why I was not doing what I know God put me on this earth to do.
Yes.
And that particular year, that particular month, one thing is I invested in myself. And at that point, I hadn't done it in a while, but that particular year, January of 2019, I decided to go to a conference, and I was so fired up that in that conference, I said, I'm going to write a book. I haven't even started it, but I'm going to write a book. I'm going to be an author. And I just started changing the way that I spoke to myself.
Mm.
And it all just came together. It really did. But again, as you mentioned, it took me making a decision, and it took me committing to that, regardless of the trials that came along with that.
Yes, yes. Now speak to that piece, because you and I both know that when you make that decision, that's the easy part.
Right. That's right. That's right. So I will say this. The first time I attempted to do the book, I attempted to do it alone. I said, there's enough stuff on YouTube and Google that I'm an intelligent person, right? I can figure this thing out, and I am going to. Yeah, girl, it was a hot mess express. So, I decided to hire a hybrid publishing company, and they got me to the finish line. Now, of course, I was the entire time taking my audience and building the audience, right? Because prior to that, I had logged off from social media for 3 months. So people had forgotten all about me.
Oh yeah.
And that's important to note, because I often get women that come to me, and just like I was, they were afraid. They're afraid to put themselves out there. And then they're also like, what? I don't want to go live. What? I don't want to, post all these things on social media. And frankly, I'm, you know, um, golly, which one? Erica Badu, I think it was, said it best. She's like, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
a lot of writers feel that same way. I mean, it is true, and a lot of writers and creatives feel that same way. So, um, I had to get out of my own way. Now, once I got past all of that, then life started happening, right? Um, I My mom started she got really sick. She got really sick, and we ended up she ended up going to the doctor who sent her to the ER and ultimately found out she was in stage 4 cancer.
Oh,
And yeah. And so now she's in the hospital, and they're saying, well, we'll see if there's anything that we can do, but it's not looking very good right now. So the option was hospice, right? They were like, it's metastasized, it's spread, it's not looking very good. So she came to live with me and my family. And I just gave my job, like, because I was still working a full-time job at the time. I just gave my job literally, I think like maybe a day or two notice. I was like, I need to go on FMLA ASAP. My mom has been given 6 weeks to live, and I'm going to be here for every single day of it. And if that means you can't hold my job, I understand, but I have to prioritize what's most important. And
yeah.
this is all as I'm promoting my book and just silently working behind the scenes as a caregiver for my mom. And she ended up passing away. What was it? It was just a matter of weeks. She ended up
Oh,
passing
wow.
away. Yeah, she passed away six it was it she did not actually survive for the entire 6 weeks that she was given, unfortunately. But in addition to that, she passed away almost exactly 6 weeks before my book was due to launch, because I had been talking about this book at this point for like 6 months, right? So the date had been set, the date had been put out there. I had been saying it for months, and 6 weeks to the date, she passed away. And I kind of took a knee, I took a breath, right?
Mhm.
And I remembered where I came from, which is from a very resilient, a very confident, and a very determined woman. And I said, you know what? She would be turning over in her grave if I didn't publish this book. So,
So
this
you almost decided not to?
I almost
Wow.
I almost did. Like, I just, to be honest, at that time, Tammy, I wanted to stop everything. I
Yeah.
just wanted to stop everything because she passed in my home.
Yeah, I
So
can
it
imagine.
yeah. And I just wanted to I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do I didn't want to be a mom. I didn't want to be a wife. I just wanted to lie in bed and feel sorry for myself. But I within a matter of days, I recognized that that wasn't going to accomplish anything. That wasn't going to accomplish anything. That wasn't the behavior
That she
that
would
I
want.
wanted my children to see. And it definitely wasn't the behavior. Oh my goodness. Listen, my mama old school, right? She wanted them to get a belt after you. So I'm like, this woman probably up in heaven looking for belts. Like, let me get down there to her and let her know, get up. We don't have time for this. Let's go. So that's what I did. And we proceeded with the plan. And by the grace of God, we hit bestseller.
That
Yeah,
is
right.
so
Won't he do it?
amazing. That is so amazing. I'm just listening to that. It's like, oh my God, that is so powerful. That is so powerful. So now so you've published how many of your own books?
I published 5 of my own books.
So 15 of other people's?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Did you expect it to grow so quickly?
Not at all. Not at all. Sis, I was not ready in this solopreneur lifestyle. Hence the reason I am developing a course so I can reach more women and reach the masses. I was in my kitchen just a few days ago and literally heard God say to me in my spirit that I have more women to help publish their books. So I know they're coming, right? I know they're coming. I don't know when, how, where, but I know they are coming. So I am developing a course for those women because surely I know I'm not the only one with the story, right? Um, so yeah, I was not expecting the flood, but I am ever so grateful. I must say I've had the privilege of working with some incredible women, brilliant women, with that are incredibly talented writers, who've taught me to come out of my comfort zone and who've grown me from, 18 months ago to now. So I've truly been blessed.
Yes, that is a blessing. Just the
Hmm.
part of being able to move on past that grief,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
grief is no joke. And if people don't
Sis.
know, and if you haven't been through it, I mean, I haven't lost my mother, but I did lose my grandmother, and that was, whoo, so hard.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
hard, so difficult. But yeah, just to be able to move past that is like, I mean, you could do a course just on that.
I never really thought about that, but you're absolutely right. I felt for me the book was incredibly therapeutic. Me continuing to work was therapeutic. So one of the things that my husband and I do on a regular basis, we take walks together. We have little puppies, so we walk the dog, right? Everyone got dogs for COVID. So we have a dog, right?
Yeah.
And you ain't get no dog. Well, actually, she lucked out. She came right before COVID. She came in December prior to COVID, but we've been out walking the dog. So and he said to me, he said, I think the book actually was your therapy. And
Yes.
you know what, he's spot on. It was.
Yes.
And working with these women was exactly the same. It was my way of coping, and that was what my grief looked like. My grief, I worked through it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I had to do it because
Mm,
otherwise, well, for me, for a long time, work was my coping mechanism. So
mm-hmm.
when I was going through different things in my life, I look back now and I see that it's like work was my coping mechanism. I didn't
Yeah.
deal with stuff because I went to work, and
Yeah.
I worked with people because I worked in the medical field. So you're always taking care of other people, so you don't have time to deal with your own stuff.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
that was a form of therapy as well. I understand that. So where do you see your business going? I mean, what is your grand big vision for it?
Oh my God, the possibilities are endless. So, so I'm a creative, right? Like I am a children's book author, which means the imagination just keeps going. I'd love to do movies. I would love to see more Black princesses. I
Yeah.
would
You got
love
one, girl.
to yeah, you're right. You're
That little girl
absolutely
is
right.
so precious.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She's sassy girl.
I
She's
could see
sassy.
that.
um my gosh. I would definitely say I'd love to get into screenwriting later in life. Definitely get the course developed and up and running. I would say those are the two big goals right now.
Yes, I could see that. Because the thing is, I'm gonna make you laugh. My mom was telling me, she said, I see you writing this screenplay, and I think you should go and learn how to do screenplays. I said, Mom. Dial it back.
Right, right.
I, you
Parents
know,
be I get it. I get it. So I have an aunt that's kind of like that, and and if she ever catches this podcast, she's gonna call me immediately and check me real quick. Um, but she she gets these, like, I don't know, home and garden magazine. I don't Good Housekeeping magazines, I don't know what they are, but some type of magazine. And she's always cutting out side hustles. And she's every time I go over, she's handing me these side hustles, and they're all related to writing. So they're all like basically different ways to Parker
make a
and Co,
living.
the business, yeah, is to, branch off and do additional things that all relate back to the same thing. And I'm looking at her like, lady, like I'm one part, like,
You know,
ma'am,
do you know how busy I am?
right? Like she really trying to give me like 50, 11 jobs. I'm like, ma'am, I need you. I cannot right now. Can we just get the kids back into school first? Okay. Can we get the children back into school before I gotta work a whole nother job? So I definitely understand.
Oh yeah, because I tell her, I said, listen, I don't know what you think, but that's like going to university and getting another degree, and I'm already doing that with all the tech stuff that I had to learn, and all the things that we have, the programs and the things that we have to learn, and yeah, and so I'm like, yeah, that's on my radar, but not right
Right.
now.
Right. And see, I'm so glad that you said that, Tammy, because I work with a lot of creatives, and I bet you meet all sorts of amazing people with big grand ideas. And sometimes we fail to recognize that denied doesn't mean delayed. Like everything doesn't have to happen right now, because
Yes.
sometimes like, oh my gosh, I hear the ideas coming from my authors and I'm like, that's fantastic, that's a great idea, but sis, you need to plan this thing out. It needs to look a certain way. Like you cannot publish 12 books in one quarter. You can, but that seemed like a bit much to me. I'm just saying.
You probably won't be
um
able to sleep.
right, right, because that's the other piece, self-care. Like we totally forget that, and I know I've been guilty of um saying yes, but I'm recognizing there's power in no, there's power in boundaries.
You said it.
And once you recognize that, it is a game changer, and you realize that you can accomplish all of the everything on that bucket list, but within a reasonable time. It doesn't
Yes.
all have to be done at the same time. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we live in, and what's funny? I think I say this in almost every interview that I do, but we live in a microwave society.
Most
Everybody
definitely.
wants everything yesterday. They don't even want it
Mhm.
now. They want it yesterday.
Mhm.
And we want it to happen. If we visualize it and we do our affirmations and we pray, we want God to drop it down right now, today. you know and it doesn't always happen that way, and the thing is
It
there's work
doesn't.
to be done sometimes, and then
Right.
there's the learning curve, because I
Mhm.
tell people I've been in medical for 30 years. So I had
Yeah.
a huge learning curve as far as, the tech work with the computer and all that stuff. And I spent a lot of time at YouTube and Google University,
Right. That's right. Uh-huh.
you know, because how are you going to learn things? And the thing is you don't consider that time. And then, I don't know about you, but I did like so many courses and different classes. And because, I've done all these different energy healing things because I do energy healing. And then
Very
I
nice.
started writing books too now. So I started learning about that stuff. So it's like, okay, there's only so many hours in the day.
Right.
And then the other
Right.
thing is too, I believe that everything happens in divine timing, you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah. So it won't happen right to yesterday, but it might happen next week, or
The,
next month or next year, even.
exactly. And I have, it took me 30 plus years, but I have finally recognized that I can now look back on my past and see where I am now and see how all of those things needed to happen in order for me to appreciate where I am. And in
Yes,
order for me to actually be able to successfully operate in the space that I am.
yes,
Because if those things, whether it was a failure or just a career that I didn't quite understand, it all makes sense now, right?
yes,
So
yes.
we have to truly enjoy the journey. We have to enjoy the journey. And it's cool that you said you did energy healing. So my past life, I was a massage therapist. Like my past life, I was a massage therapist.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So oh, wow. Okay. That's a whole nother thing. So
It really is.
I can see how you got from there to there for real. Because, when you're doing massage therapy, you're definitely already energy healing.
Right.
And I don't think a
Absolutely.
lot of people don't really understand that, but I do. I
Oh
do.
yeah. There is definitely I could tell, oh my gosh, I could tell. Now, before going into the field, I was not a believer of it. Well, I can't say I wasn't a believer. I just didn't understand, right? We
Gotcha.
don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So, experiencing it in class was certainly eye-opening, but then actually working with clients and taking on their energies and recognizing that people can be draining And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, no, I believe in energy for sure.
Girl, they'll suck the life out of you.
They sure
Right.
will. That's
I
why there's power in no. I say again.
Yes,
Yep.
I agree with you. The same thing. Because I deal with that with my patients. They'll I walk in and because I work night shift, they'll say, I'll say, how you doing? And I don't even know why I asked that question because I'm gonna get everything. And then it's like
Mhm.
they'll take a straw and poke it into me and start sucking. And by the
Oh.
time I leave, I feel like a wet rag.
Yeah, my hairdresser had a good comeback for that. So instead of saying how are you doing, say so what's going on good today?
Oh, that's
Like
good.
don't even
I
give
like
them don't even give them a chance, girl, because you're right. People, and it's funny because I was teaching my daughter the other day, or just on a couple of different instances, she would just say, "Mom, how was your day?" Like when she came home from school pre-COVID, and I'd be like, "Oh, well, mommy had a nice day," and say one or two things. And before I could like finish my sentence, she's like, "Okay, because today I blah 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 blah." And it's like, so you wanted to tell me how your day was is basically what this is. Like that's basically what this. So I'm like, I need you to come from a genuine place if you're asking, honey. So we've gotten past that curve. But my point in saying that is they learn from a very early age. So if you're talking about dealing with people as they get older and older and more things in life are happening, so it's important to retrain the mind.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
that is so real. That is powerful right there. We can end on that.
Girl.
Because that is, oh my God, that is huge. Because so feel like that, just like you said. It sounds like you work with a lot of visionaries.
I do. I do work with a lot of visionaries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I know that as a visionary, the all the moving parts and stuff like that, they can be super overwhelming. And you
Hmm.
sometimes you need help, and sometimes you don't know how to ask. And have you found that as well?
You know, I have I'll say with the people that I work with, they're good about asking for help. I will say
Good.
that. Um Now when it comes to me, I had to do the same thing that you. I had to take the courses. I had to go to Google University and YouTube University. And even as I mentioned in the very beginning, use a hybrid publisher. I had to do all the things because I just was not willing to not publish that book. Like it was not an option. I'm like,
Yeah.
this has to happen. Um, so yeah, in working with visionaries, I would say that the good thing about it is they tend to be pretty open-minded, which means generally they will ask for help, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
is true. And you're right. It sounds like you were birthing a baby.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And
That's
you can birth a baby at home
hmm
by yourself if you're that bold, or you can get a midwife, or you can do like I had to do. You got to go to the hospital because you got to have C-sections.
yep, yep.
So
I
I think about that in terms of publishing,
right. That's
because I'm doing the
exactly
same
right.
thing you're doing, creating a course because people have asked for it.
Hmm.
I have
Yeah.
people reaching out and saying, "Hey, you published your third book, and and blah blah blah, and how do you, can you help me?" And I was like, you know what? What if I create a course?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's so necessary. And the thing is, there's still, but what the one thing I will say when dealing with creatives, and you probably know this as well, Tammy, they have to be held accountable.
Oh
They
yeah.
have to be held accountable because myself included, we
Mhm.
tend to have ideas for days
Yep.
and the execution is where it lacks. I can't tell you how many people have come to me with books that have been on their desktop in their hearts for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years even. And it's like and this thing is still burning inside of them, and it's like, let's get it out, let's execute. So that's so I guess although they ask for help, they drag their feet sometime asking for it. So don't be that. If you're listening in, guys, do not be that person. Again, do it afraid.
Do
There
it
is so many
right.
blessings on the other side of the fear.
Yes, that is, that must be my theme for the day. Because that's
Oh,
exactly what the other gentleman I just interviewed
oh, I
said.
love it. It's the
Do it
theme for the day.
afraid. Yes. That's why I said it
Yeah.
must be the theme. Do it afraid, because so many people just let fear stop them from doing things that they know they're supposed to do.
My gosh, yeah. It's so many. I can't even imagine, the songs, the speeches, the books, the poetry, the buildings, the businesses that went to the grave because
Yes.
people were afraid. And trust me, I understand fear, for sure, but sometimes I think we have to go back to basics.
Yes.
And basics for me is almost as simplistic as a child, right? Because they have no fear. Like, we're
Yes, they
sitting
don't.
there, you know scared half to death, and
Hmm.
they have no fear. And if we get back to that place, and then we stop. The other thing I would say is we stop making these plan B's, because they can be a distraction from the true purpose, and really just get in the way.
I like that. That is powerful. Stop making plan B's, because I don't know about you, but I was the queen of that.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me
I
too.
used to
I
have 4 jobs,
girl,
and I had them so I could say, if one started acting up, I'd be like, you know what?
right.
Peace out. I'm
I'm
out of
not
here.
dealing with this.
Not
Right.
dealing with this. Y'all can
Yep.
take that, whatever you want to do.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's so powerful. Oh my gosh.
So I have to say this then. So my plan B was to be a nurse. So okay, let me, Tammy, please don't judge me because I know you've been in the medical field for 30 years. Do
No,
not judge me, sis.
no, never.
That is just not my calling. Let me
Mhm.
tell you something. That is just not my calling. I did massage therapy for 7 years. So it's not a lack of compassion. It's just, I just know that's not my calling. And for me, it would have been a very safe place, which we like safety. We like a consistent paycheck. We like to know, that we have, money coming in, that we have that security. And that was what I was going to do. And in terms of following directions, I'm great at following directions. So I feel like I would have made an amazing nurse, but my heart would not have been there. I wouldn't have been happy. And I
Yeah.
that but that was my plan. I was like, oh, it's nice and secure, it's safe, it pays well, it checks all the boxes,
Okay.
except being my purpose.
So my mama told me to go to nursing school
Did she really?
because I
Oh.
had 2 kids. My
Hmm.
kids were my youngest was 14 months old when I went to nursing school,
Oh, wow.
and my oldest was 19 months older than that.
Oh my gosh. Wow, kudos to you. Oh my gosh.
So my mama said, go to nursing school because you'll
Hmm.
always have a job.
Yeah.
So I did. I went to
Yeah.
nursing school. I went to be an LPN, and my plan was to go on and be a RN and a NP and all these other things. And so that never materialized because I had a husband that was not supportive, and you can't do those things without support.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
And so,
100%.
so I didn't. I did it just because of that. Because my mama said, go to nursing school, you'll always have
Yes.
a job. Because I had been to college for like 3 years,
Hmm.
and I didn't have a degree because I switched, jumped over different majors and all kind of stupid stuff, trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And I think when I think back on it, I think it was because what I wanted to do was not what my parents wanted me to do.
Mm.
And
I'm
so
curious, what did you want to do, Tammy?
I actually kind of really wanted to be a writer
Wow.
way back then,
Wow.
but I didn't do that. So yeah, so my mom was like, you got these babies, you ain't got no degree. I was working as a nursing assistant, and that was no money, and I knew I couldn't do that long.
Yeah.
So she said, go to nursing school. And my mom was a nurse now. She'd been a nurse for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and a couple of her sisters and some of my aunts and cousins. There's a whole bunch of us nurses in our family.
Yeah.
But it was not ever anything what I wanted to do. So I've been doing it all these years because just like you said, it's paycheck, you can always get a job.
Always get a job.
And if you want to leave one, you just leave it. And then if you were like me, you had three or four anyway.
Hmm.
So, and you make good money, and all that kind of stuff. And so this is how my mind was at that time. Now
Yeah.
I'm at this place where it's time for me to exit. It's time to go. You
Yeah.
know, 52 years old. Time to do what I want to do.
All
Exit.
right, sis. Okay. All right.
So I'm super excited. But even
Yeah.
just speaking to you about this has been just so eye-opening.
Oh,
And I know
thank
everybody
you.
else will get so much out of it. So last thoughts.
Yes. So I would say I'll end on if you do not see the book that you're looking for, then write it.
Ooh, that's good.
Girl, let me say it one more time for the
Yep.
people in
For the
the
people
back
in the
because they
back.
might not have heard it. For the people in the back,
Yes.
if you, the person that is listening right now or watching, if you do not see the book that you're looking for, then you need to write it.
On that note, let the people know where they can connect with you, your website or your social media handles, how they can reach out to you if they are ready to write their children's book.
Most definitely. So, guys, I can be found on all social media platforms, IG, Facebook at Audrey Hinds. And even my website is audreyhinds.com. So I'll just spell that for you guys. It's Audrey, and last name is Hind like David S. So audreyhinds.com, and same on all social media platforms.
That is so awesome. I'm so excited. So I will also put all that stuff in the details of the
Oh,
video
perfect.
and also in the details of the podcast. Her bio will be there as well as how you can connect with her to make it easier. Because I really feel like, when you watch this and you see somebody that you want to connect, that it should be easy to reach out to them. So I'm
Yeah.
super excited and so grateful that you have decided to join me, Audrey. It's been an amazing conversation, just like I knew it would be. I'm so excited because when I do these podcasts, I learn from every single person that I interview.
Most
And that to
definitely.
me is one of the most amazing things about being able to do this podcast. So, again, my name is Tammi Morrison. This has been Audrey Hinds with you from Straight Outta Savannah, Talking with Tammi. Make sure that you connect with her on all of her social media and on her website if you are looking for her. And she is such an amazing author, publisher, and businesswoman. So, again, thank y'all for joining me. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.